You gonna play that dastardly intro again?
Ow! This movie's still fine.
Zacole, pasta.
One of them dies, that guy's screw. One of them's a hottie, his name is Jay. One of them looks like Johnny Depp, and his name is Johnny Depp.
Classic Maximum Joseph.
You forget that films are supposed to have a point.
You do sometimes, don't you, Guy?
I often do. Not today, though.
Not today.
I remembered throughout the entire film that films are meant to have a point.
Welcome to the worst idea of all time, episode probably 9, season 3, I think is where we're up to. I had to get a little bit more on board with where we're up to, you know.
You mean you have to research it? I can tell you, we're on episode 9.
Is that definitely the case?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
If you say something, it's true.
How you doing, Guy? We've just watched the movie, literally just finished.
Why does what's the point? Someone asked me, I think probably both of us on Twitter this week, could you please explain in the next step why it's called We Are Your Friends? And on the surface, the answer to that question is because it's a very neat title. Like, a lot of this movie was made to be a trailer. It's called We Are Your Friends because of the Justice vs. Simeon dance track, We Are Your Friends. And they used that, I'm pretty sure. Like, they used that in the movie. It's the title track. They probably definitely used it in the trailer. And it's about, you know, it's
Some friends.
about some friends. But is it about friendship? Is it about following your dreams? Or is it just genuinely about nothing? Just
Fuck Boys. Fuck Boys, the movie.
yeah.
Not the first time I've used that subtitle for We Are Your Friends, but I think it's pretty accurate.
What do you think it's about?
The movie?
Yeah.
I think it's about trying to get a Hollywood A-lister from a Disney past into some semblance of an indie-feeling film to break him into a new part of his career. I think that's what this movie is about.
It's a stepping stone for Zac Efron.
Yeah.
And everyone else is just along for the ride.
Yeah, definitely. You want to jump on that gravy train. And actually for Emily Kadajkowski,
Kakowski.
however, I think it's for her to foray into
Crossover from video clips and modelling to acting.
real life acting. Model/actor turns actor/model.
Slashy.
I want to come completely clean with the viewers. We did not measure up to our own parameters this week. We were distracted. We were all over the place. We were sending emails in the middle of the watch, which is fully against the rules.
Good honesty, though.
And I haven't quite decided how we will pay penance for that. But I feel like instead of having to watch the movie one extra time, which is definitely an option, if we manage to get the VR gear, I think that immersive experience will make up for the lack of immersion this week. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but I want to get my hands on some VR gear so we can just be entirely surrounded by this film.
I am so for that.
Are you? That's not the words I expected you to say just now.
Well, look, man, something's got to be done.
Yeah. You're good on you, Guy. Good attitude.
I think I showed the movie this as much respect this week as the movie showed me.
Yeah.
If you think about it in terms of if you're out for a meal with someone and they're on their phone, then it's like that's carte blanche for you to go on your phone. You know,
So the
movie blinked first, and I blinked back.
it didn't pay enough attention to you, so back at you.
I specifically requested from the movie this week. There's a song I really want to hear the second half of.
Yeah.
There's a hard cut in the club from.
It's James Reid of the Feelers. It's our first introduction to him, actually.
Yeah.
When we're at the club on Social on a Thursday night.
Social goes off on a Thursday.
Social is where you want to be on a Thursday night. We have got beautiful women. We have got pumping dance tunes. We've got James Reid from the Feelers.
Banging out an acoustic set.
Yeah, just to get everyone warmed up. That's at 6 o'clock. Doors are at 5.
And then he's so versatile, he DJs. But he only DJs recordings of the acoustic set he played earlier in the night.
which is pretty amazing that they've got all the equipment to be able to record to a professional grade a live set that he's just done and then cut the vinyl of it right there and then.
If this movie teaches us anything, Tim, it's that you don't need to operate on the big stage of electronic music in Los Angeles, California. You don't need high quality recording equipment. You can just do it on your phone. Just ask Zacole. He literally just walks around. When he's about to play Summerfest, the biggest gig of his life, he just walks around with a cell phone, picks up recordings of coins spinning on tables and his friend having a fucking meltdown because he doesn't know what he's doing with his life. And then just, like, he doesn't, say, hey, I really like that. Let's get you in the studio. Let's get you saying that. We'll use that. He's just like, nah, you know what? We'll use the version from my cell phone. If you went in there and plugged your cell phone into a recording of you doing anything, a gig, on a big expensive sound system, it's going to sound fucking terrible.
And you could kind of mix it in if you had other stuff going at the same time, but when you cut all the music down so we can hear this one recording from your fucking cell phone, you've got nothing to hide behind. At this point in the podcast, I would like to say thank you to our sponsor guy. It's time for us to do that.
Who?
So if you feel like
is our sponsor?
You're too much of a purist and you feel like absorbing all of the podcast without the advertorial part, skip ahead. I don't care. Do it.
What is confusing about our ads, I think, is that there's no jaunty musical jingle to say.
It's because we're not journalists. We don't have to be like, here is the firm line between where the editorial and often, advertising
and often
happens.
the conversation within the ad lib, the ad read will bleed into the actual podcast.
Good, we're allowed.
It's absolute chaos, isn't it? For you, the listener, you don't know which way is up.
I've heard a lot of podcasts do that now, where they play like a jaunty music bed over their ad, and I think the way that started is because there was some specific podcasts made by like NPR in America, where they really needed to kind of let people know that this bit's the ad and this bit's the show. And then everyone was like, oh, this is how you've got to do it. There are no fucking rules, man. It's like We Are Your Friends. You just got to look at Zacole as an example and be like, follow your dreams. There's so many different ways to skin a cat if the cat is your dream and skinning it is achieving it.
I don't think people should look to Zacole's efforts at becoming a DJ in this movie as an example of how to follow your dreams. I don't doubt that he likes music and he wants to be good at music, but I do question his work ethic.
You think he's falling forward? Is that what you are trying to say?
What does that mean, to fall forward?
Just kind of like everything's accidental. There's no real plan or hard work going in. It's just he kind of accidentally gets successful at every step.
Yeah.
Very similar to Big Pipe Broadband. Look at your face. Look at your face. Bigpipe.co.nz. Get some internet in ya if you're in New Zealand. They're the best ISP in the game. The game of internet.
That's right. Only in New Zealand. To our American listeners,
I'd like to wave it in your face that I'm currently sitting pretty on a 200 MIP connection up and down. That's ludicrously quick.
Both ways.
It's crazy.
Right and left, up and down.
You should see the quality of my Skype calls. They are to die for. So good. If you want to join Big Pipe, get in the big boy ISP game, go to bigpipe.co.nz. They're cheap as well. They're not even expensive because they find all these ways to cut costs on the back end that you don't even notice.
Yeah, we are their entire advertising budget.
that is almost probably true.
That's a huge cost-cutting.
It's a massive cost-cutting thing.
There.
You don't have the big billboards like you get with your rip-off artists where you have to pay for all those billboards. You're just paying for old Timbo and Guy. We're not that expensive, all things considered.
That's the beauty of it. If you sign up with Big Pipe, you're signing up with Timbo.
And Guybo. Sorry, what was it?
Timbly
Wimbley, which actually has been bleeding through. I've had a few
as well it should.
Of fan mail addressed to Timbly Wimbley.
Spindly Timbly Wimbley. You're a character in a children's book.
Okay.
You're frail. You can't go outside when it's windy because you'll get blown away and your bones will crack.
Well, good thing I've got such good internet inside to keep me company. Go to bigpipe.co.nz and if you sign up with them, use the code WORST. I don't know if anyone's ever actually done that, but it'd mean a lot if you were the first one.
I don't like that you made your new nickname Spindly Timbly Wimbley part of the ad read because I want that to hold fast.
You're like the NPR journalist. You want that outside. You want it in the entertainment
and the body of the podcast. What I was saying though, Tim.
Yeah.
Zacole, he leaves his station. He several times, as we've said previously, he'll just be in the middle of DJing his job that he's paid for handsomely at the pool party, and not so handsomely, he gets paid in drinks at social.
Thursday night.
So I tell you what, those boys need to get out of bed with social. Social are not doing right by them. They're ripping them off at every turn.
Yep.
They're not paying their DJs.
No. But
the DJs are providing a service.
Well, yeah, but also Social was turning a blind eye to Johnny Depp's drug operation he's got running in there.
That's not a good reason to stay in business with someone.
I don't know. It depends what business you're in. If you're in the business of illegally selling drugs, I reckon that's a fabulous reason to stay with a club. Because otherwise you got to feel out if a club's going to abide your particular lifestyle business
If you
choices.
are in the business of selling illicit drugs, wouldn't the main part of that business be maintaining a discreet business front and accordingly not necessarily I don't think Social know he's doing it.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
think it's just it's sort of a symptom of how poorly the management.
Yeah,
For instance,
they're sloppy.
You've got the club manager, the guy running up at the start saying, "Where the fuck are the punters?" Who hasn't even checked outside to see there's a huge line, and moreover,
That is insane. Like, don't just gloss over that because that's huge. He's like, where the fuck are all the people you invited? And Jarhead has to be like, bro, they're outside. Like, wouldn't you definitely
he's
look
just
at
like,
the door?
"There's an outside."
I've been trapped in this club for 30 years.
And then he hands Zacole a list of songs he's not allowed to play, and it's just the word firepower. He says, "Save firepower for Mr. Reed." On that piece of paper, the word firepower.
Don't play any of these tracks. Save the firepower for Mr. Reed. That's what he says.
It's
And
exactly
the track
like
will
The
stop.
Shining. He's just written the word firepower over and over and over again. And the boys, they're so impervious and immune to how batshit insane, not only the club manager, but the whole club social is, that they don't even bat an eyelid at the fact that they've been handed a piece of paper with the same word written over and over and over again from a guy who doesn't know that the club has an outdoors.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like a healthy workplace.
No. Unless he's some sort of avant-garde creative genius. Because
What, you think
a dance club is a place of worship in some ways. You worship art, and the art you're worshipping is shitty dance music.
Better yet, is the social nightclub, the entire thing is an art installation, and all of the people within it are pawns inside this artist's game.
It's the most hip thing I've ever heard of in my life. Everyone's there, ironically. No one's having fun. Everyone's there to play their part in this art installation.
No, not everyone is there. They go as punters. So the art installation, only the artist and the intelligentsia, the select few who he's confided in, know that these people are there unironically.
So where does the facade end and the enjoyment of the club begin? Like what part is the people who are playing, are they part of the installation?
They're part of the installation. So the whole thing is just a shell for an art project.
Well, what's the difference between that and an actual club at that point?
The difference is that the people who are owning it know, and they laugh at them.
Laugh at them, why?
Because they think, you think you're having fun, but you're actually inside my art project.
Oh man, that's silly. That's so silly.
You're silly and spindly.
There was a question I wanted to throw at you, Guy.
Yeah.
And the question is, because I was talking to someone online this week, and they were like,
Humble brag.
"Why?" Yeah, internet, heard of it? I'm on it.
Oh, who's your provider, Tim?
Can't remember their name. Can't for the life of me remember.
Go on.
And they were like, so why did you guys do sequel? Like, what's the thing with sequels that you guys did 2 sequels for the first 2 seasons of this? And I was like, I don't know. It's not really about sequels. It's about mediocrity. And generally, like, it's a good clue that something's going to be mediocre if it's a sequel that shouldn't have happened. And I was thinking, what would the sequel to We Are Your Friends be? Like, what happens in We Are Your Friends 2? Or, as I've titled it, We Are Still Your Friends.
Well, so we know that there was the potential for a spin-off sitcom wherein James Reed from The Feelers and Zacole are both washed up flatmates.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
Sophie's
right.
there because
Forgot about that.
they bombed the gig and she's working at a cafe.
Yeah.
But I think the sequel to We Are Still Your Friends.
Yeah. Well, that's the title. It is the sequel to We Are Your Friends. It is called We Are Still Your Friends.
It probably focuses on Paige and Johnny Depp.
Yes. Yes, bro. We're on the same wavelength. I think so too.
I don't think there's Jarhead. He's kind of just
Floating.
He's pretty much all he does now is work construction on his
He's a floating,
on Jardad's house.
He's a floating head in a jar.
Jar,
Jarhead.
what is it called? Jardad? Is that
Jardad, yeah. Jar bless, Jardad.
they've got a blessing jar, which is like a swear jar. Only when they bless something, I don't know. Look, it's not important. What we're here to talk about is Paige and Johnny Depp. One of the most interesting things I found about Paige in this watch, and something that I think is embarrassing and slipped past both of us, is one of the first things he says is, "I don't believe." What is it? I don't believe in anything that's not concrete.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact
Yeah,
line.
I think that's it.
It's like everything.
I don't believe in anything that's not concrete. It's something like that. It's a
Everything
weird double
here-
negative, which is why it's so hard to remember.
It's like everything here is concrete. It's more or less what it is a confession that this is a man who has built an entire real estate, if you can call it that, empire of concrete.
Yeah.
Look closely. The computer's concrete.
When he does say that, we are panning through an office, which looks like a normal office. It looks like
That's just a good-
we're dealing with normal computers, normal monitors, normal chairs.
That's just a good paint job.
But it's all actually concrete. Do you think that Paige has figured out a way to make microprocessors out of concrete? Like, are those
No.
computers functional, or is everyone just playing along?
Everyone's just having a way. It's that entire page and that entire office building are actually quite an expensive and avant-garde art project by the owners of another art project called Social.
Right. Same guys.
Yeah.
Same
where
team.
They have an army of would-be employees who go into an office and simulate the experience of work.
Well, now this begs the question, is Paige in on it, or have they constructed this entire reality show just to kind of throw him? So he believes he is the king of this concrete constructed property empire, and no one's told him that it's an art installation.
Paige is not in on it.
God damn, yes. Love that.
And so the sequel would be...
This is very Truman Show-esque.
It is,
that
isn't it?
someone's created an entire reality for Paige to live in, and no one told Paige. And
I
it's
haven't seen The Truman Show in so long.
I don't think I've ever watched it.
Really?
The Jim Carrey one, yeah. I just kind of know the plot of it.
Is there another one apart from the Jim Carrey one?
Yeah, I think there's I think it's a remake. I think there's an original version of it.
Truly.
I think so.
I think the Jim Carrey one is the one.
No, I'm not going to look that up. You look it up. You're on the internet. You
I-
listen to a podcast.
Yeah.
I'll leave it to you, listener.
Let's not look it up.
Let's not look up anything.
Yeah, arguments don't all need resolutions.
Yeah, totally.
It's fine to not know.
I was having a good argument with my flatmate the other night, and Nick was like, we should just Google this. I was like, no. No. Let's do it old school.
The
Let's
reason
do it
that no one
analog.
has the courage of conviction anymore is because they don't need, like, they can defer and be like, okay, you were right, or I was right.
You can be proven wrong so easily now.
Before
Back yourself.
Before
Back
the
yourself.
internet, if you didn't have an encyclopedia, it was literally who was better at lying,
Yeah.
or who had more conviction in what they were saying.
Which actually does suggest that was a better time. You know,
Yeah.
you don't want to be relying on who's the better liar to determine what's correct and what isn't. That doesn't seem like a great way to figure out what's up, does it? So anyway, Paige is there in his concrete empire, and Johnny Depp is now along for the ride. Now, Johnny Depp isn't in on it either, but he has been brought into the fold and has drunk the Kool-Aid, like right to the last drop. So he thinks that Paige is some sort of concrete genius.
Johnny Depp's just taken. So after that big blow up, you know that shot they have him towards the end of the movie where it suggests he's pursuing his dream and he's in a room full of Johnny Depp lookalikes about to go to an audition.
Yes.
That's a hallucination.
Whoa.
Johnny Depp has taken all of the drugs that he was meant to sell and it's gone bad.
Oh my God. Wouldn't it be terrifying if you were tripping out and you like walked into a room that you thought was the bathroom at Social and you walk in and what you're visualizing is an audition room where everyone's a slightly fucked up version of yourself, but like wearing your clothes and shit? Holy smokes, that would not be a fun trip at all. That'd be rubbish.
That would be a game changer.
And then everyone's got a script and they're trying to like perfect your accent. They're all talking at once. So there's like a real kind of schizophrenic vibe that there's all these voices happening at you all in tandem and they're just trying to replicate what you look and sound like.
So they're not even going through with the ruse that they're all going to an audition. They
are, but they're auditioning for the part of you. And then I think if you're on a bad acid trip, the most natural conclusion for that is you're about to die and they need to cast your
replacement.
stand-in.
Oh, I feel like I'm in a bad acid trip hearing this.
It's like what happened with Paul McCartney, you know?
Oh, yeah. Paul McCartney was an inside job.
Yeah.
Jet fuel can't melt the Beatles.
That's damn right. But that'd be a bad trip. That'd be a super bad trip. So that's what's happened. He's having a hallucination at the end of the movie. And so he kind of retreats into Page's concrete empire because it's the only thing that he kind of...
It's the only... Well, it's concrete.
It's a... Nice. It's a bit of flotsam, I think is the word, like in a
Flotsam.
Flotsam, like when a plane crashes or a boat smashes up, he's just grabbing hold of something. That is his Titanic door to hold on to in Titanic.
And Paige is Kate Winslet.
Yeah. Paige is Kate Winslet and Johnny Depp is Leonardo DiCaprio.
The movie is it's Leonardo DiCaprio, it's Paige and Johnny Depp just fucking on a door made of concrete in an office building.
Made of concrete, and Paige just figured out a way to make it float on top of the Atlantic Ocean, which is quite incredible.
It's not a very good... I mean, it shouldn't exist. It's not a good film.
No, but this actually explains... The concrete thing does explain why when the boys are in the office and they're playing with that bit of thing, that we still, to this day, can't figure out if it's a gold bar or an iPhone that's, like, got a gold case on it.
It's a gold bar.
Yeah, but it's not. It's concrete that's been made to look like gold, which is why they keep going to Cole. Hey, Cole, check this out. They're like, Paige just figured out a way to make concrete look like gold.
It's called paint. I would like to posit that scene this week. I can't remember if we set up as a regular segment last week, but wherein we pick out a scene that was improvised.
Okay, yeah.
That scene.
Run with that.
Where Jarhead says to Cole, "Hey Cole, check this out." And you tagged it today saying, "We're pretending this gold bar is an iPhone."
Yeah.
One of the actual line I thought of when you said that was, "Hey Cole, check this out. We're doing improv games with this gold bar." And on the cutting room floor, there's a scene of all of them pretending it's like a remote to change the channel.
Trying their best to turn it into something.
Yeah.
Whose bar is it anyway? The best offer came from Squirrel, who imagined that
it was a nut.
It was a nut,
and he pretended he was a squirrel.
They're none of them very good at improv. None of them. They gave young Emily a go as well, and she wasn't too good either. No one's good at improv, and they keep trying to throw it into this film like it's going to work, and it just keeps not.
I love it though.
You like the offers, you like the effort that's going in, you like that everyone's giving it a real God's honest try.
A red hot go.
Good God. So just I wanna just keep coming back to the sequel thing because I feel like we've got no conclusion on it. The sequel, We Are Still Your Friends, is following the adventures of Paige and his concrete empire with a drug-addled but slowly recovering Johnny Depp, who is on board as his right-hand man. And together they're going to transform Earth. Little do they know they are living inside of an art installation.
That's right.
Do we know
they're
that?
more than business partners. They're lovers.
Do we, the viewer, know that they are in an art installation? I guess that's the biggest question.
That is a huge question.
I think we do. I think we have to be in on it for this premise to work. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's a bit Truman Show. It almost feels like we're watching a reality show at this point.
Yeah.
If we know.
Oh, if we do. Well, if we don't know, then it doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think it's quite an art house release, this film. I think.
Oh, like if
we
you
do
get
know,
it, you get it.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah. and you can pay like a premium to watch it in a room full of hired actors who are pretending to be intellectual snobs.
True. This is like what I was talking about with The Nice Guys to you. And I don't want to delve, because we shouldn't delve into other films, but I might do a little write-up on this because I think everyone's missed what The Nice Guys is actually about, that movie with Russell Crowe and Ryan Gosling.
We can't entertain every conspiracy theory on one podcast, Tim.
Be pretty cool if we tried, though. But I might write that up because I've got some interesting thoughts about that film.
I think you've got to do something with those thoughts. It's not healthy to have them rattling around your brain and no outlet.
Possibly. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty good sequel. It's different. It's a different feel. It's a different tone. I would like to hear a lot more jazz and less dance. You know, give it a real art house feel to it.
Yeah.
Like Birdman, you know, a lot of drums, a lot of jazz drumming.
It was Kareem Riggins was the drummer in that. You see him in the film.
Yeah. Talent.
He's a good drummer.
He's a talent, to be sure. This week, in Getting Sentimental with James Reid, or as we like to say it, Getting Sentimental with James Reid. So we're constantly trying to determine what James Reid from The Feelers has stuffed inside of a MacBook Pro box to give to Zacole. Our clues are, he says, I got you something. I may have got a little sentimental. And also he says, this is, to be honest, a self-serving gift. So, if I may, I hypothesize that it is a folding servant robot that compacts down to the size of a MacBook Pro, and all it can do is serve nuts or gold bars that Squirrel has deemed a nut to James Reid from The Feelers.
What?
Just fetching them for James Reid.
What sort of bizarre AI would you have to put inside a robot for it to, obviously the nuts thing, fine. If that's its one,
Yeah.
What is, like that Rick and Morty gag, what is my purpose?
To get me the butter.
To get the butter. So it just does the nuts. But to put in the extra wrinkle that it also...
Yeah, but yeah, do you want to know why? In all honesty, yeah. I'm so glad you brought this up, Guy, because there are so many things that we call nuts and think are nuts that are actually seeds, that the parameter that the robot works on is anything that you deem to be a nut becomes a nut if you're a human. It's like Isaac Asimov's 3 rules of robotics, which I'm going to attempt to remember. It's been a while since I read one of his books. The first one is that a robot cannot do harm to a human through action or inaction. The second rule is that a robot must obey the commands of its human owner as long as it does not conflict with the first rule. And the third rule is that a robot will preserve its own existence as long as it does not conflict with the first and second rules. So,
when did this guy write these rules down?
The 50s.
Wow.
The 1950s.
Shit, he would have been such a space cadet in the 50s.
Yeah, I think, from memory, he's the most prolific writer in the English language. He's got a book published in every section of the Dewey Decimal System except philosophy, from memory. Which is weird, because most of his stories are very philosophical. But anyway, he was a prolific writer. Wrote a lot of letters, too. A lot of letters, Isaac Asimov. Anyway, so this robot, right? So if you say that all the robot can do is fetch nuts, then you're carting out, like... You're carving so many things that we call nuts, but are actually seeds. Like, aren't almonds technically seeds? They're not nuts. There's a whole bunch of them. I can't remember which ones they are.
What?
Like peanuts. Peanuts are seeds, apparently. Some shit like that.
A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. It is a legume.
Oh, legume. There you go.
So what if I am holding? If I don't quite understand this robot's relationship to me. If I say that's a nut,
yeah,
and point to a camera,
he'll fetch it for James Reid,
and he'll take it to James Reid.
Yeah,
he won't take it to me.
Yeah,
so I say that's a nut and point at a camera, he'll pick it up and take it to James Reid.
Take it to James Reid. That's what he's there to do.
Here is a nut.
Yeah,
and surely James Reid would be like, why this?
Well, look, James Reid is the one who said it's a self-serving gift. It serves to himself.
Yeah, but I'd be furious if the robot I had specifically to retrieve nuts for me.
Yeah.
Was at the mercy of anyone else's whim to be like...
That's what makes it a gift to Zacole. It's a self-serving gift. It is technically owned by Zacole. It's Zacole's robot, but it serves James Reed from the Feelers. Whatever you think is a nut, or whatever you call a nut.
So, what happens if Zacole's sitting at his house?
Yeah.
And he's got a bowl full of nuts.
Yeah.
Cashew nuts.
Yeah.
Lightly salted.
Nice.
Okay.
Good addition. Good detail. I can taste them.
If Zacole doesn't say anything, the robot and nuts remain in the room.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
If Zacole says
The robot isn't there to find all the nuts in the world and bring them back to James Reed. It is at Zacole or whoever's there's command.
So you say that's a nut. What if you point to something and say that's a nut? Is that when it will go and pick it up and take it to James Reed?
Yeah. So that's a nut. Take that nut to James Reed.
Zacole, like say Jarhead comes in.
Yeah.
And
Jarhead could do it.
Jarhead comes in and he starts like yelling.
Yeah.
And Zacole's like, "Oh, mate, you're going nuts. You're nuts."
Yeah.
What happens?
Nothing, because you've got to tell the robot both that thing is a nut and also take it to James Reed. It needs both commands.
You're nuts. Okay.
Take them away, robot.
I gotta say,
it's a sentimental gift. It's so sentimental.
so sentimental. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
No, it's good. It's robot.
It is good. And it collapses down to the size of a MacBook Pro.
Yeah, so that it can fit in the box.
Holy shit.
I mean, I think this thing's going to be big. I think there's a big market for it.
I don't.
Don't you?
No, absolutely not. I don't. I think whoever invented it, they got very confused along the way.
Because what you're trying to... You may be wondering about the specificity of the nuts thing, right? If you're creating a machine that really can pick up any object that you deem to be a nut and take it back to James Reed, you want to put some kind of parameters on it to try and limit its function a bit, because otherwise it'll go fucking loopy. You know, one thing I didn't think of, you could get a grenade and be like, this is a nut, take it to James Reed.
I was thinking that, but then the first rule of robotics is...
Oh, yeah, okay, we're assuming it's imbued with those rules. Cool, I dig that.
I thought that might have been why you listed the rules, or were you just showing off?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I was
talking.
I was
I'm
impressed.
Just talking here. Yeah. Okay. That's good. I'm glad you're impressed. I don't read a lot of books, but I've read a couple of those Isaac Asimov ones because they're a good, easy read.
I don't know that being the most prolific author is necessarily like a badge of honor.
No, not necessarily.
It's like doesn't mean anything. It's like, oh yeah, that guy. Yeah, he wrote heaps. Like, oh, okay. Well, where does that leave me?
Quality does not equal quantity. We know this from watching a film 52 times, a couple times.
Quantity doesn't equal quality.
Just reaming something doesn't make it
You
good.
said it the other way around.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Quality does not equal quantity. That, I guess, also technically holds true.
Yeah, but it's a different thing, isn't it? It's like in Alice in Wonderland, that other one book that I've read.
Do you know that...
What's the line? To say what you mean and to mean what you say are two different things. I think it's a conversation she has with the Cheshire Cat. Anyway, what were you going to say?
You don't want to talk to the Cheshire Cat, whoever you all at 6s and 7s. He is, honestly, that cat is just out to create havoc.
Casting that cat as Whoopi Goldberg was a masterstroke, I reckon, in the animated one.
Oh, yeah. Whoopi Goldberg was one of the hyenas in The Lion King as well.
That's right.
Is Alice in Wonderland Disney?
Don't know. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. We're getting off track from We Are Your Friends, or I will allow some discussion on We Are Still Your Friends in this episode as well, as a special treat from me to you.
We are going down
sentimental.
We're like going down some really interesting wormholes this week, aren't we?
Yeah, a little bit, because we just couldn't.
I think we're folding back on ourselves and climbing inside to the weirdest recesses of our brain.
It's happened far too quickly this time around, because we're only on watch 9 now.
That's not that quick. That's not that, like, you know, one more watch and we're pretty much...
We're in double digits. By default, we have
We're,
done...
like, it's almost 20. We've done like 18 or 19% of it.
I'm not into us accidentally fulfilling the sobriety rule as well for the single digits ones.
What we've been...
Just like real straight edge watchers of this film. Like, I think it's fine. After 5, we should have just been like fucking just pounding beers or something. Because today was just... I haven't even eaten. I'm hungry on top of everything.
It's a horrible feeling.
It's not good.
It's not a good movie for an empty stomach.
No.
It's not to say that there's a lot of food consumed, but...
You just want to approach it in a good space. Yourself. You know, you want to be comfortable. You don't want to be cold. You don't want to be hungry.
I always think it's to be... it's hard, though, isn't it, to treat it like any movie, because it's not any movie. It's a movie you've seen 9 times before.
Like to just go in there with fresh eyes and be like, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Well,
here's a film.
It's imperative for us to meet the movie on its terms. I think that was what Dom Corey said.
Yeah.
He's big on that. You got to watch every movie you see.
Yeah.
And that goes beyond movies, anything. You have to meet it on its terms.
Yeah.
So you can't watch We Are Your Friends hoping for it to be Citizen Kane. It could surprise you and prove to be the Citizen Kane of our generation.
Once in a while it might. And you might voice that out loud onto a recording device and then transmit that to the internet. But most of the time you are just watching a Zac Efron vehicle that went awry financially. Big time.
It doesn't look like a big budget, though.
No, but didn't
Oh, yeah,
we've got into that. This was like historic in terms of what the budget was for what it made. It's one of the biggest flops like ever, apparently.
That sucks.
I should look into that before I go shooting my mouth off, but...
It's upsetting. I can see why, though. It's just not... It's not inspiring.
It's like you were saying this when we were watching it. You were like... Because I can't remember what triggered it, but you were like, it's a hero's quest movie of sorts. Like, you've got the kind of idiot savant, which I guess is Skrill. You've got the hero, which is Cole. And his quest is supposed to be to become this international DJ. And it starts off like that, and we've got it quite strong in the opening. Like, he's working well on his computer. He's obsessing over this track. He's tweaking it. And then it just kind of gets abandoned for most of the film. Like, he doesn't care about it anymore. And then the filmmakers are like, oh, shit. And they freak out and they have to kill someone just to give the film some false gravity and pathos.
Absolutely. That squirrel's death, the first time I saw it, was so shocking.
Yeah.
There's nothing to suggest in the movie. The movie isn't like it.
It's not that kind of film.
No, it's not. And it's like they realized that they were making a film with no point. And were like, well, we better put some emotional poignancy in here.
So they overcorrected and murdered a character. Squirrel died at the hands of Maximum Joseph's lack of being able to write a cohesive 3-act story. I
still think the best way to read Squirrel's death is as a suicide.
You reckon he would rather kill himself than keep hanging out with those dudes?
Yeah, and he'd been thinking about it, but what really got him is when they all sang Santeria at 5 a.m.
That's a hell of a straw to break the camel's back, eh? Like, I could understand that. I could definitely understand that.
It's 2016. How are we still singing Sublime? I didn't even like it at the time.
Yeah. There's a lot of bands like that, I feel, if you're in LA, that you would just have to be on board with. You know? Like, I'll admit, this is coming to me because I was listening to a Comedy Bang Bang episode recently where they were talking about this, but it's like your Sugar Ray.
Yeah.
You know, like that song Every Morning, stuff like that. Real LA sound shit.
Sugar Ray. I liked, and probably to this day like Sugar Ray. I would never put it on, but if it's on like if I'm flicking through the radio while I'm driving my car.
It got absolutely punished here though in New Zealand. I remember that on the radio all day, every day.
I remember when Crazy Town Butterfly came out.
Oh, fuck that song so hard. I hated it when it came out, and one of my best mates fucking loved it. Used to play it all the time. It was
me in disguise. I loved that song.
This is when
I learnt the whole first verse.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
I printed out the lyrics.
Rap rock.
I also printed out the lyrics to a Snoop Dogg song at the same time.
Gin and Juice?
No.
That would have been about that
a Snoop Doggy era. Snoop Doggy Dogg, Bow to the Wow. I can't remember, but I printed it out and left it. I accidentally forgot I printed it out and left the lyrics in the printer, and I would have been very young.
Too young.
Too young to be reading such unsavory language and ideas. And my parents found it. They're like, "What is this?" And I was like, "It's Snoop Dogg."
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Did you get a talking to?
Yeah, I think they're like, these are not...
It's low level. It's a lot better than your parents finding a porn website on the history of the family computer.
That happened also.
Which is something that kids today will never know. Because they've got their own cell phones and laptops.
And
they're used to kids.
Incognito.
People who were born before, like, I don't know, the year 1998 probably, we used to share a computer. That's how families worked. You were lucky to have one in your family. And if you had one, it was in the computer room, which is a room that doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's right. And you'd have to wait. You'd have to know full well that all your siblings and parents are out of the house. There's no risk of a drop-in because you can't unplug a desktop and the whole fucking power. Like, you can't take it up to your room.
It's not feasible. And they were so much heavier back in the day. And you had those CRT monitors that weighed like 10 kg just by themselves.
You're doing it in the broad light of day. And look, I didn't even remember the story until we got into this. But one day I don't know why I was at home. I was home by myself. I think I was homesick maybe or something. I would have been like 13 or 14. And I was like, Dad left the house. Everyone had left the house. And I was like, excellent. I can do that thing I've just figured out how to do, which gives me the best feeling. And I went, and Mum and Dad had been away, or they'd been out the night before, they'd been away for a bit. And I went into the computer room, and I looked up, I remember not knowing what to look up, so I looked up the words free vagina.
God, that's good. That is kind of adorable.
New wave feminism porn. Free the vagina. And anyway, I did my dastardly doings, somehow through that awful entry point, somehow stumbled into something
real porn
with which I could work. And then was finished, and I was like, fuck, okay. Ran away to have a shower, sort myself out. I came back downstairs.
Yeah.
And in that time, Dad had obviously forgotten something.
Ludicrous.
And come home.
You plebeian. Had you not closed it?
I hadn't closed
That's insane. What were you doing? That's insane.
I know for a fact.
You really were playing with fire there,
I know
friend.
for a fact my little sister listens to this podcast.
Oh, look, we're all adults now, you know. This is over a decade ago, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it's well over a decade. I wouldn't be making that sort of rookie error as a fucking 17-year-old.
Certainly not.
What was the shining light, Tim?
Oh, yeah, that old chestnut. Probably Johnny Depp's disgusted look on his face when Paige says something to them in the diner. What is it that triggers it?
He says, if you want to make any real cash.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You want to start any real loot, you should come work for me.
There's just a split-second cut to Johnny Depp's face, and he looks horrified at the suggestion.
Yeah, I had a Johnny Depp. I like that character. I think at one point early on I tried to stick up for him. Not because I genuinely liked him, just to try and be contrarian, because you were railing on him. And you were so quick to be like, no, this guy's a bad egg. But, yeah, my shining light was also...
This podcast is nothing if not a marketplace of ideas. I'm glad that you challenged me on it.
And Johnny Depp, when he's walking, he's got the cash from Social. I don't know why they let the drug... For all we know, Johnny Depp's skimming off of the money they earn per head for bringing people into Social.
Yeah.
He's a drug dealer. He started taking all of his drugs. But he's on his way to give them the envelopes, and you get the shot. It's sort of framed so that you've got the three. You got Jarhead, Squirrel, and Zacole, who are all on the left, and Johnny Depp walking in on the right-hand side of the frame. And he takes off his hat, which is one of his favourite things to do, because it makes him look interesting. If he takes it off his hat and touches his hair and puts his hat back on, it's something we're all guilty of, I'm sure. But he takes off his hat and spits, and then he puts his hat back on. And the ADR on the spit is it's overwhelming. It's honestly,
5.1 surround spit.
Peaks the mic and buries everything else. That's all the ambience. It's
Jeez, that was big.
Well, now you know.
Yeah.
But I was bold, maximum directing.
Maximum directing from Maximum Joseph. Someone told us that Maximum Joseph's friend, who I will call Minimum Joseph, is in the film in the PCP party scene. I looked for him, couldn't see him.
I believe you.
Hide nor hear of Minimum Joe.
It's probably a room full of friends.
Yeah. Anyway, look, this is where it ends for this week. So thank you very much for joining us again. I don't look forward to seeing the movie anymore, but we will be doing it for another 43 times.
You're framing it all wrong. When you look at a progress bar, Tim, and you see it's at 18% loaded, are you like, oh, wow, there's still 82% to load? Or you're like, 18%? That's more than zero.
Yeah, true. All right, good. We've seen the movie 9 times, everybody.
18%.
Is it 18%? Oh, yeah, it is roughly. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, damn right. Okay, well, thanks again to our sponsor, bigpipe.co.nz.
You can ride your phone battery when it's on 18%.
Oh, it depends. Depends what your plans for the day are.
Yeah, you wouldn't set off in the morning with it, but like,
Certainly not.
if it was 10:30 at night and you were out and you look and you're like 18%, and you're like,
I got another 2 hours.
I got 2 hours and an Uber home on that.
Yeah. Righto. Good luck, everybody.
You won't be going on social media as much as you might otherwise, but that's probably good. It's better to socialize. They call it social media. You gonna play that dastardly intro again?
Ow! This movie's still fine.
Zacole, pasta.
One of them dies, that goes screw. One of them's a hottie, his name is Jay. One of them looks like Johnny Depp, and his name is Johnny Depp.
Classic Maximum Joseph.
You forget that films are supposed to have a point.